What's up, people? Welcome back to Reactober. I'm Desi Bear. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're a returning subscriber, make sure you like the video because you're cubby. This is our house. Let's do it. So today, day 2 of Reactober, and we're going to be doing 2 horror stories. It's October. Why not do something scary? And this video is going to be by Wansee Entertainment. Now, I like Wansee. Now, let's see what this story is about.
Let me give you some background before I begin my story. This took place in the summer of 2014. I'm a female who was 22, turning 23 that fall. I don't want to share my location, so I'll be making some minor changes for privacy reasons. I live in a small college town. I've lived there my whole life, and I've graduated from there. There's a lot of history in this little town, but unfortunately we do have a drug problem here. Other than that, we don't get a whole lot of crazy around our small town.
In America.
I worked at a gas station that was owned by a family member. My husband and I worked opposite shifts. I was the early bird, so I would work the morning shift. I would get up around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and open the store by 5. I was never...
First of all, you got up at 3:30 in the morning and had to be at the store at 5? That's some good goddamn dedication, because I ain't going for it. 3 a.m., 5 a.m.?
worried about walking out to my car in the dark because I grew up living in the countryside outside of town. I loved being outside, even when it was dark. I used to lie in the grass and look up at the stars. When my friends would come over, we would always play Ghost in the Graveyard at night and did your typical teenager stuff during dark hours. Just messing around and having a little fun.
Okay, so just improv, do
We owned about 4 acres of land, and no one ever bothered us, so I was used to being outside in the dark with no fear at all, which I'm not too fond of because I was so used to being in an open space, and I was never really a city girl, even to this day. Now that you've got some background, let's get into the story. Now this is going to be a 2-part story, so bear with me, because both of these incidents occurred very close to each other.
Now, when it becomes 2 parts,
As I mentioned
it's a little
before, it was the summer of 2014. I was getting ready for work like I usually did. When I got into my car, I started pulling out of my apartment's driveway. I then noticed a man walking down the road, pulling a suitcase behind him. As I got closer, I began to wonder why someone would be walking down the street pulling a suitcase at 4:40 in the morning. I thought
I'm
about
wondering
pulling
why
up
you're
next to
working
him
at
and rolling
4:40
down
in the
my window
morning.
to ask him if he needed me to call the police or something. But I was suspicious.
Hell no.
I grew up being told not to talk to strangers or to pick up.
Stop being Captain Save-A-Ho. If y'all are out early in the morning and y'all see people walking, if they need help, call the police.
Hitchhikers. So there was no way that I was going to let a stranger into my car. But I'm also a nice person, and I'm always willing to help
And
in
you got
any
a
way that I can.
suitcase.
But I wouldn't do something that could put my life in danger. When I pulled out of the driveway, the man then started walking right towards my vehicle. I remembered losing my nerve and took off
Get
down
the
the
fuck
street.
out of there.
I looked into my rearview mirror to see him just standing there watching me. I knew something was off about this person, and I was also thankful that I didn't offer to help him. Some of you might think, oh, you're just over-exaggerating. But come on, why would this man come right at my vehicle? And what the hell was he doing walking with a suitcase in the middle of the street at 4 o'clock in the morning?
What were you doing stopping there?
Once I reached my work,
Look at
I
him.
called the police and reported it. I told them that I was just a concerned citizen, and I have been living in this neighborhood for the past 4 years, and I had never seen this man before. The police told me that they would send a car out to patrol the area.
That was a Karen move.
Hours went by.
That was a
I
Karen
didn't
move.
hear anything from them. So I decided
Just
to
because
call
you
them
don't know
back
this person
and inquire if they found
doesn't
anything.
give you the right to call the police on
They
them.
told me that there was no trace of the man. So I just brushed it off and went about my day. I later mentioned it to my husband after my shift, and he told me that it was probably someone returning home from the airport or something. But the nearest airport is about an hour's drive away. My husband thought I was just overreacting about the
Well,
whole
not
thing.
the airport, but you know,
A few weeks later, I was talking to one of my
people walk all the
customers
time
and
at
brought
night
up this incident.
with suitcases.
It's a small town and
In
everyone
Atlanta.
talks to everyone around here. As soon as I mentioned the man with the suitcase, my customer looked like he crapped his pants. He then started telling me that the police had recently discovered bodies in suitcases in our county. All the hairs on the back of my neck stood straight up, and my heart began to pound out of my chest. My customer asked me if I remembered what he looked like, but I didn't really get a good look at him.
No, he
I'm not
fucking with you.
100% sure if the man that I saw was the suitcase killer, but regardless, I'm glad I didn't stop to help that man. A couple of months later, I was again getting ready for work. I headed out of the back door of my apartment. My husband and I lived at the end of
See, at this point, working in the middle of the morning like that, it ain't going down with me.
the hallway, so I figured I would just park my car close to the back door because I thought it would be easier than going all the way down the hallway. Plus, a lot of the front parking spots are always taken. When you go out of the back door, there are these huge pine trees lining a cement pathway that guides you to the back parking lot. It was still dark out, and the moment that I opened the back door, straight ahead was the dark figure
close
of
the
a
door, go
large
back inside.
man running straight towards me.
Get the hell back inside.
I didn't hesitate and I slammed the door shut and rushed back into my apartment. My heart was pounding violently inside my chest. I was in full-on flight mode. I had never run so fast in my life. The moment that I reached the bedroom, my husband literally sat straight up and asked me if I was alright. After I
Is she
explained
good?
to him what was going on, he stood up from the bed and headed to our door to look through the peephole to see if there was anyone in the hallway. He saw nothing, so he opened the door a crack and started looking around. But there was no one there. I was still shaking, even when my husband walked me out to my car. I'm lucky to have such a great guy for a husband. Later that day, when my husband arrived at the gas station for his shift, he told me from now on to park in the front where the lights were.
But
The
it's
same
lit that
week,
they
I
work
ended up
together.
buying some pepper spray just in case I needed it in the future. It's been about 7 years, and I still haven't used it, thank God. But I want to warn you all, even though you feel like you're safe in your own neighborhood, you still have to take precautions. Make sure that you park in well-lit areas if you're going to work very early like me.
Listen to these
Always have a
instructions.
can of pepper spray or some sort of protection. You need to be aware of your surroundings, because you never know if there's someone hiding in the shadows, waiting for you to let your guard down. There are a lot of freaks roaming the streets.
All I gotta say is be careful.
And you have to be careful out there. And if
Be
something
careful.
doesn't feel right, follow your gut.
To the woman at the bar last night who noticed my body language, thank you. You couldn't have known the specifics. Maybe the guy that was being aggressive with me was my boyfriend,
Works.
and we were just having a fight. Maybe you were afraid to get involved in a stranger's business, but you saw my nervous, intimidated body language.
If you're in a relationship like this, try to seek some kind of guidance to get out of it, because these people do not care about you.
And you
If
acted.
they gonna act the ass
There were
at the
couples
public
and
bar,
groups everywhere, but it took you, another girl alone at the bar, to recognize my struggle and act. We made eye contact. I was twisting my body away from the man's touchy hands and pleaded with
so
my
nobody
eyes.
sees this.
The look you gave me back was more than clear. You understood exactly what was happening to me.
Did she help?
You'd probably been through it yourself. I can see you coming over and calling me by a generic term instead of a random name. Hey girl, it's been such a long time, you said, extending your arms and a lifeline.
This
You
is a
wrapped your
good
arms around me.
citizen.
It was a different sort of stranger's touch from the man's hand on my knee. I squealed like we were long-lost best friends, and I asked you what you were doing here. I remember the dull ache in my stomach when I heard you say that you were celebrating getting your master's in marine biology. Once upon a time, long before Rob and I ran these schemes in dirty bars, I had been a little girl that wanted to be a marine biologist.
You never give up on your dreams.
Oh well, that was literally a lifetime ago. Oh my god! Congrats, girl! I yelled at you violently and asked if you wanted to dance. Of course! You replied, returning my
lifesaver
vigor
tonight.
like I had loaned it to you. While we were heading out to the dance floor, I thought long and hard about giving Rob a signal. Your interest in marine biology made me feel guilty for a moment, but I ultimately took it as a sign that you were just my type. That you would taste wonderful. Only
Yo.
God knows how hungry I was. So we
That's a
started
huge fucking
dancing,
plot twist.
leaving behind Rob at the table. He hunkered off, pretending to be dejected. Nobody noticed him pass by where you had been sitting before, and nobody noticed him pour a small vial of liquid into your drink.
No, they finna get this girl.
Well, to the woman at the bar last night who noticed my body language, thank you for being so gullible.
No, you wanna know what's fucked up about this? It's people out here like this for real. Don't be too trusting. If you go out in the bar and your drink is left unattended, leave it at the bar. You never know who slipped what and what. As you can see in the story here. That was wild. I was not expecting that. But make sure you guys like the video, comment under, subscribe to the channel, become a cubby. Because this is your channel. This is my channel. This is our channel. And we need that engagement. Enjoy the rest of Reactober. I'm out.